they're the product of extreme heat waves and prolonged droughts, and then very low humidities. What's really rare about this event here in Oregon is it was a region-wide east wind event. The winds came screaming, from the deserts on the east side of the mountains up over, barrel down these valleys, and just propel these flames. And though some scientists hesitate to attribute a single event to climate change, these are exactly the conditions predicted by climatologists. And once they were rare, I mean, they're not entirely unprecedented in our prehistoric past, they will become much more frequent in the days ahead. So just a combination of heat and dryness and winds and lightning storms are making these fires explosive.
What about the fact that 6 helicopters that are supposed to be fighting Oregons that could be used to fight the wildfires are in Oregon, are in Afghanistan?
Yeah, well, I guess we're fighting one war or the other all across the planet. But in addition to that, there's been several, firefighters and engines and other crews from Oregon that have been in California or Colorado for weeks. So, I mean, it's really a West-wide phenomenon, another indication of climate change. Trump isn't entirely wrong about forest management playing a role, because in addition to these fires being propelled by these hot, dry winds, they're also raging through the industrial tree farms that were clear-cut in the 1970s and 80s, covered over with densely stocked young trees, and where, for an old growth forest, it takes a very rare, very high intensity fire to kill those trees. It doesn't take much for these tree farms to just be incinerated. And what we'll be seeing here in the Oregon landscape is kind of time going in reverse. The green veneer of tree farms that are being stripped off, and we'll just see these proverbial moonscapes of barren, ash-covered slopes as these tree farms are incinerated. That's what's burning in the Holiday Farm market, Holiday Farm fire outside my town.
Tim Ingalsbee, if you can talk about your daughter's lawsuit. Last year, Democracy Now! Spoke to Kelsey Juliana, who is the lead plaintiff in the landmark youth climate lawsuit against the U.S. government. I started by asking her about the lawsuit.
This lawsuit is a constitutional climate change case against the U.S. federal government filed by 21 courageous young individuals in 2015. At the time, the youngest was 8 and the oldest, myself, was 19. This case looks at the actions of the federal government for the past several decades of helping to perpetuate the climate crisis by continuing to fund the fossil fuel economy, endangering the lives of all citizens, but especially disproportionately harming the lives of young citizens and future generations.
So that's Kelsey Juliana, Tim, your daughter. Explain this lawsuit and what's happened to it.
Well, I'm very proud of my daughter and her peers who are, taking on the federal government. An important point for people to understand is it's not the inaction of the federal government that is part of the climate crisis. It's their deliberate actions, pushing more fossil fuel extraction and burning, promoting the alteration of the planet's atmosphere and oceans. And so this is a constitutional-based case that the government is causing my daughter's generation, all future generations of all species for that matter, significant harm. And so it's been tied up in court for years. And my daughter was young girl when she started this case. Who knows when it will be resolved.